Joining us now is political analyst Jim Warren, executive editor of NewsGuard, which rates the credibility of news and information sites. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
You are here with the 5 things to know, and the first one is a window on a nation's divisions.
Yeah, this was by 10 minutes, the longest such speech ever. I had sat through the previous record, Bill Clinton, in 1995, which was a mere 88 minutes, and any thought one had about olive branches being extended either way was dispatched with very early when Al Green, a little-known Texas Democrat who often frustrates his own party, heckled the president and was quickly expelled from the room. Trump then launched into praise of himself, saying that he had had the most productive first month of anybody since George Washington, and bashed Joe Biden, saying that he was the worst president of all time. This led the Democrats to quietly, voluntarily, including the likes of Bernie Sanders, exit the room. It was an unprecedented show of mutual disdain.
Next point is firm in the face of economic anxiety.
Yeah, amid, great uncertainty that we all have about inflation, about what may happen with the tariffs, what may happen with any federal cuts, Trump was very, very upbeat, although he did use the phrase, quote, little disturbances, quote, that may now come as a result of his actions, little disturbances. I thought it was real interesting that he tried to sort of pacify America's agricultural sector, including, for instance, Midwest farmers, by saying they would not be hurt, even though huge amount of their livelihoods are based on exports, and about $2 billion worth of exports go overseas through the very agency, USAID, that Trump is eliminating. So we'll find out in Illinois, Iowa, Wisconsin in a couple of months. We'll have a great focus group asking farmers, what's the impact on you?
Just looking at that video, though, seeing half of the room standing and half of it seated, is it more divisive than it's been in past years? We usually see cheering by one party.
It was more overtly divisive, and clearly Trump was unhappy that there wasn't even sort of perfunctory Wimbledon-like center court applause for him occasionally.
And he gave kudos to Elon Musk.
Yeah. The world's richest person was there in the balcony, and he is taking, as we all know, a huge, if somewhat unforeseen role that even makes some Republicans a little bit nervous. Trump went out of his way to praise his actions, citing a litany of what seemed to be fairly modest contracts that they are getting rid of. There was no mention of literally the hundreds of mistakes that Musk has made so far in posting cuts that he has made and then withdrawing them because
nuclear security.
Yeah, but some that were contracts that eliminated years ago that he is now claiming are his. But I think a bottom line on this is, until these cuts actually impact you, I think a lot of folks will react positively and, like Trump, see Musk as a disturber of a status quo that they don't like.
We have a quick amount of time here. Reconciliation in Ukraine.
Yeah, you mentioned that a letter came. New York Times claims it was just a social posting by Zelensky, but it looks like there may be some light at the end of the tunnel, even though there's no mention of, whether there be any American security guarantees or what Putin would have to give back in return.
And very quickly, Jim, where do the Democrats go?
Good question. I'm not sure the way to go is overt resistance like last night. I think you're going to have to low-key it to a far greater extent. You're up against somebody who is a quintessential great aggressive performer. I mean, he even threw in that Pocahontas epithet again, remember from the campaign against
Elizabeth Warren.
Elizabeth Warren. This was a guy who spoke 98 minutes at age 78, topping the record of a then mere 48-year-old Bill Clinton. So he will be a formidable adversary for the Democrats.
All right, thanks, Jim. Check of the weather.